Good morning, everyone. Coffee Money from Southern Magic. Trying something a little bit different today. We're going to do a YouTube video, straight to YouTube. I love Vintage Cube. Magic Online gave out free Vintage Cube tokens, so I figure what better way to test out this new format of dropping a video direct into our YouTube channel than to use the free Vintage Cube draft. So we're going to hop right into Cube. Fired off right away, and we're gonna open up a pretty strong pack here. Not necessarily broken, but that's kind of Vintage Cube in a nutshell if you're not familiar. It's just every card's great. It's just you're looking for like good synergy pieces, really powerful payoffs. You can go fair, you can go unfair. I tend to have more success in fair strategies, so the cards that are sticking out to me tend to be Green Sun Zenith, Halfling, Lelia. Yogsville is certainly more on the unfair side, but it's just an absurdly powerful card. You can play pretty much any color combo you want, so things like Life from the Loam, Leyline Binding are useful. I think we're going to go with Lelia. There's a lot of cheap mana to get, and a fast Lelia can just end the game sometimes. Fetch lane's pretty good here. Blightsteel, again, more on the unfair side. Things like Tinker in the cube, things like that. Could go like Outland Liberator if we're just committed to fair, but I don't like committing to two colors this early. Patchwork Automaton, certainly good. There's kind of an affinity subgame going on here. Heart of Kirin is a relatively new addition that I kind of like. It synergizes well with Lelia because when Lelia attacks the first time, she'll be at a 3, then you follow up with this. From then on, you have the ability to crew there if you want to. I think I am going to take Seasoned Pyromancer just to keep my color options, because I don't expect people to just like go after Heart of Kirin or anything. So hopefully it comes back. Sword of the Meek, Tameshi, another really good combo piece. Sail into the Wind. This pairs nicely with Sheoldred. Athari. Athari is really powerful. Arc Trail is okay. Lotus Petal, Usher of the Fallen, all of those are fine. I think we're going to take Lotus Petal as just generically good card. So we're pretty well positioned to just go like the mono red beatdown plan this time. I'm not seeing anything that's just screaming to pivot or go a different direction. We will see about, let's see. I do like Earthshaker Kinra. Lots of new additions in the cube this time around. Kind of just shuffling out some of the cards so that it doesn't get too stale with how many times I've been releasing this cube this year. Could just take the Badlands. I think we're going to stick with our kind of mono red plan here for now. I just don't see a big enough reason to pivot yet, and I might end up regretting that as we've passed up some pretty nice dual lands, but Fire Blast it could include. All right, our first challenge of the pack 1 here. Splashing Sylvan Library, certainly great. Animate Dead, very, very powerful, right? Because it's in a graveyard, right? So you can kind of get your opponent's stuff sometimes. I think I'm inclined to take the Animate Dead. I might regret that now that there's an option to take a Renin 6. We'll take Mystic Forge. I love that deck. I wish I could have seen this early enough to just commit to the artifacts. We have Inti. I think we'll take Inti. Just stick with our mono red plan. Maybe just end up not even playing Animate Dead unless we board it in against Reanimator or something like that. All right, so we are at Blackcliffe Cliffs is pretty good. Jetmir's Garden, there was a couple of reasons to get that card going. Rafellos is a powerhouse in mono green. Green looks pretty wide open. Little punished for not picking up that signal sooner. Debating between the Chief's Thirst, since now we're kind of starting to angle into the ability for some Rakdos to happen. Pyrite's Bob-omb's fine. Not great, but I think we'll go Thirst. Alright, our Heart of Kirin did wheel. That's great. Might take this as some anti-reanimator technology, anti-combo technology. Turok, not bad. Underdog, not bad. Right now, we'll try and get away from splashing if we can. There's nothing exciting enough that I want to splash for yet, but we do have that option. Library of Alexandria in my mono red deck seems ungood, unfortunately. We'll go Hellrider. It's not really a power pick, more of a synergy pick for that one. Mana Crypt. An easy selection there, because that's the fast mana we were hoping for when we took our Lelia. We have a couple of decent sequences already. We have, turn 1 Lelia, turn 2 Inti, or turn 2 Season Pyro potentially into turn 3 Hellrider. So we have some pretty strong sequences at our disposal. I want to keep my mountain count really high because Fire Blast is just good like that. Force of Will, Duretti. Brea's Apprentice is decent. Nettle Cyst is not bad, considering we do have a little bit of a artifact sub theme going on here. I assume Nettle Cyst will make it back to me. I'm gonna take this. There is an Exhume and an Oliphant. That would be Exhume and Animate Dead. Maybe we can make the pivot. Reanimator in general is pretty cool like that, where, you know, of the things to pivot into, it's got the lowest cost of entry. Just grab a couple reanimate spells and you're kind of doing it. If you can find Exhume, you're really doing it. And nothing else in that pack was particularly exciting. Okay. Again, a pack with not a ton of excitement for our archetype, but there is Bone Shards, which is a discard outlet if we do go reanimate, so we'll grab that. Najila, that's pretty good. It's a knight. Is this one a warrior? Yes. Okay, so we do have our kind of warrior sub theme, which is pretty good. Goldspan Dragon, a great aggro top end. Not mad at that in the slightest. But I do think that one will come back to us. People tend, at least in Vintage Cubes past, tend to not opt for that dragon very often. Firebolt is pretty okay. Flametongue Kavu, not really as exciting in this day and age as it once was. We will go Firebolt. Nothing screaming great here, but we'll again kind of continue our little bell curve here at 3 CMC. Nothing really screaming at me in this particular pack. Guess we'll take the Chalice. Probably not going to play Rabbit Battery, but it is the only like potential take here. Nettle Cyst. The Virtue is certainly playable, especially if we go into Reanimator, but a premium, very strong removal spell. Maybe not premium, but certainly a strong removal spell. And we'll just round out the pack there. Bergie is certainly fine, but we're not really in that style of deck. It's more of a storm piece. All right, pack 3. This is where it all comes together, right? So, the One Ring, certainly something. Bitter Triumph as a reanimate enabler, but we really didn't get any reanimate payoffs yet. So I think we'll start with DRC and hopefully look to find some better payoffs as we go. Hex Drinker is fantastic, but we are just not on that archetype, unfortunately. Probably Faithless Looting, just for the Rakdos Reanimator setup, because I think we will end up going that direction. We have Dragon's Rage Channeler, Faithless Looting, 2 reanimate spells. We just need a large, kind of game-ending type of creature to make us feel better about that. Mana Vault, an excellent pickup. Kind of kicking myself for not getting like the Hangerback Walker earlier or something of that effect. There's Entomb. Would love to see like a Archon of Cruelty level threat here. And just Woodfall Primus kind of aging out of that category that we were just talking about. Not really the kind of threat I'm interested in. We maybe just whiffed hard on, like, we passed a Grave Titan, we passed an Ashen Rider. Yeah, we may have been a little late on the pivot there. Glorybringer does a nice straddling the middle impression of something I don't mind to reanimate, but a nice curve out with all of our fast mana here as well. Titan of Industry certainly in that category of happy to reanimate that on turn 1 or 2. Think we will just marry the idea of the mono red aggro deck. Even though I was quite excited for this little pivot plan we had. Wow. Probably won't play this, but we'll have it hanging out in the sideboard. Kari Zev Wield. Excellent. So we rounded out to a fairly decent play out here. Suppose I could play Synthesizer. Titan wield, nice. Happy to get pick 15 reanimate target. Okay, now the weird thing I always do, let me know in the comments if you have a habit on here, is I love just taking all the cards I drafted, throwing them up there. This is my pool, and I build my deck out of it. Other people think I'm weird for that, friends of my play group, etc. I'm sure other folks on the channel probably think it's weird, but I just helps me think it through. One, two, three, four, 5, 6. That's probably pretty good. So I'm thinking something like this is probably more powerful than having kind of a clunkier out the gate. I've got a good bit of double red in here, so the splash is not free to bring in more powerful spells like our removal suite out of black or Tenacious Underdog, pieces like that. The more I look at it, the less I like the Heart of Kiran in this list. I think it's probably better in like a Planeswalker sense than like necessarily treating it like a traditional vehicle, like a Smuggler's Copter. So I think we're going to run something like this. 16 lands. I have a fair amount of fast mana and a relatively low curve. These are both free spells or alternate cast cost spells. So Glorybringer is really the top of my curve, and any of my mana lets me do that on 16 with the math. So I think we'll do that. And save deck and see you in the matches. All right, we're here with game 1 against Denmark. So we have a nice curve here. Nothing fast, none of our fast mana, but we do have a 2-3-4 curve out, so I think we keep this. As long as it's not something just ridiculously unfair, we ought to be okay. Mountain cycling, sure. Scoos? Okay. We're alright with that. Council's judgment. Okay. Can't imagine they're going to vote for anything but my NT. And get in there for the attack. Okay. eventually. Okay. The upside of them just not having another removal spell is really high. So I'm going to go ahead and run out the Najeela instead of the Nettlecyst. Happily. Okay, we've got the Monarch in play. Oh. Goodness. All right, that's 8 of our 16 lands. So we should be in a pretty good spot to draw something here. Opponent realizing they're not going to win that race with a card like Hellrider in play. Them not attacking with more bodes well that they don't have a removal spell. So we're going to try and just get through here. No questing bee shenanigans or anything like that. All right. Oh, the Oliphant. I'm a dingus. Oh, well, they didn't realize it either. Sure. Okay. Well, that was a huge whiff for me. They still would have had a braid for the Hellrider, so it wouldn't have been great either way, but I should have firebolted one of the night tokens, and then they could choose to pump or not, but they would trade with Najeela either way, or give me their Birds of Paradise. Oh, that's not good for me. Okay, we might have to pack it in off of that one. They'd be attacking for 2 less here. Yeah, that was such an unfortunate miss on my part. Just being sloppy. 'Cause it's early in the morning, I suppose. I would love Glorybringer right here. Okay. Alright. We'll probably run it back. I don't think there's much upside going reanimate against what we saw. And I think bringing in the black for the removal might be good, but I'm just really worried about kind of what happened there. Just a couple too many lands would be disastrous. Now this, on the other hand, looks fantastic. This looks like what the deck actually wants to be doing. Tails never fails. Alright. We have a shrouded 4/4. We have 4 turns to figure out a way to deal with that. They've shown a braid. They've shown that they have some pieces to be able to actually deal with it, but just put them on a really tough ask of having to do that quickly. Sure, Staff of the Storyteller. Hey, Tails really does never fail. Just turn off in case this was like the only thing they really have going on. Just turn off any options. we can take a turn off now that we have developed our Nettle Cyst. And we've won 2 flips in a row, so we're not even really racing our own punishing mana. Monolith, okay. Yeah, opponent gonna eat at least 4 damage here. We might also eat 4 damage here. Tails never fails. Hey, it never does. Okay. Opponent does not kill both of our creatures. They are highly likely to not survive this next turn. We've got our mana vault untapped, so we have oodles of mana to play with. Even a mountain off the top lets us just cast both spells. Or a red card, I mean, not a mountain. Mountain would, well, 4, 7, 8, 9. Close. All right, game 3. Game 3, game 3. I don't think we want to change anything. I think we just kept a really concerning hand that first game. It didn't pay off. So. I think we just run it back. I feel like we're okay with this. Oh, we're very okay with this. Just curving. Do still need a land to be at peace with this, ideally 2. Grist is going to be a problem. That's a very good card. That's not what we wanted. Let's get our third land here. That certainly simplifies things. I imagine has to destroy Karizev. Yeah. Now what? Now seems like a really good turn to just get like Soulscar Greaves out there. Because Leyline is a little better when I can like play the land that gets flipped, etc. But at the same time, it's just so powerful. I'm gonna develop Soulscar Greaves. Let's see if that makes our decision very good. I believe opponent exiled a council's judgment for it. Okay, that's pretty good for us. That sets up some really nice stuff with these other cards. They kind of have to give me a creature, or I get their Grist with Rabbit Battery. I think I'm gonna let it go. I'm just not gonna attack with the Rabbit Battery. Keeping it up for Nettlefist is certainly something, but really it's just an additional ping with Hellrider, so that if I get to just go straight into Hellrider, the Grist is guaranteed dead regardless of blocks or anything with staff. So I maybe should have put Greaves on the battery just to keep them from having some cheeky removal for it. Okay, didn't matter. Good deal. Alright, so we're going to get Grist out of the way and kind of control the battlefield. We're not going to get Grist out of the way. Okay. if they want to trade their grist for my DRC, I'm happy with that, obviously. But this just gets another point of damage from Hellrider in play. We're getting remarkably close to just casting Glowbringer off the top of the fairway. Really like our spot here. Opponent's been trading cards with us pretty evenly, which is great for the red deck. I know they have staff here, kind of going off, but they're limited. They only have the 2 green sources, so that's been lucky for us. Okay. We're going to take Greaves, sure. Are you going to give me Grist and a creature for my Lilia? That's the big question. Yes. Just excellent for us. Very happy with that. And no land. Excellent. Oh, wow. I think we're going to Bennett. We're going to try and win a different way this time around. Opponent heavily constrained on mana. Putting Lotus Petal in the yard feels bad because of Sys and DRC triggers and stuff, but trying to get to like Najeela would be ideal. Sure. Okay, we've got an excellent turn set up. For next turn, just really gonna smack a lot of damage in there. Okay, cleared that card out of the way. Negated all this life gain with the Hellrider trigger. That's all fine. Get to activate Synthesizer or use Rhea's Apprentice to get 2 cards deeper. So my top deck's not as unfortunate as it looks. Najeela off the top, still fantastic. Just activate this the right way. Perfect. That is Najeela in the land of play. All right. Opponent had some land struggles. We managed to take it with a steady stream of our little poo-poo creatures. So 1-0. We will get the record updated and see you back for round 2. All right, back for round 2. Quite the hand, a little awkward in the playout, but on turn 2, we can play 5 mana worth of things, whether that be Lelia and Kenra. We'll see based on their turn 1. But I like this hand. I think we keep. Okay, now we are heavily incentivized to do something else. Dismember. Okay. Mission accomplished. Dealt 4 damage with 1 card. It's kind of the going rate to feel comfortable in the archetype. Tails never fails. It did. Okay, so it is a reanimator strategy. If opponent does not have the reanimate spell this turn, then we are cooking with gas. Does seem the opponent is prepared for all manner of our shenanigans. So. Wow, Smasher. Okay. That's a cool card. Hey. All right. So. All right, we got there. So that was weird that we were able to get there at all. Now we have to debate if it's worth bringing in our reanimate spells of our own to kind of steal things like the Grizzlebrand. I'm sure there's at least one other very strong payoff in there. We saw some good removal. Exhume isn't really it, but we do have Reanimate and Animate Dead. Both can grab them as kind of a one-sided manner to fight that. I think I'm kind of interested in it. Those two, Black Cliff, maybe like 3 swamps, because then we have Lotus Petal, that'd be 5 sources. Okay. And then some cards we don't like in this type of matchup. I don't love. I mean, Pyrokinesis looked like it'd be pretty good. Fire Blast, still kind of want to avoid not using that. Delayed Blast Fireball seems pretty meek. And if we're getting like a Grizzlebrand and stuff, Rampaging Ferocidon seems like a liability. So let's try that. We may hate that because Ferocidon, if they are successful in reanimating, is one of our good tools. We do have all the pieces of the puzzle here. Just need to draw a reanimation source before they actually reanimate. They mulligan to 5, which is good for us, hopefully. They probably take our turn 1 here, since we have a couple of very powerful turn 3s. Oh, no, opted for it anyway. Good. Probably have some removal lined up for these, I assume. All right, 2-0. Opponent didn't like that we played removal of our own. All right, I'll see you back for round 3. All right, back for the trophy round. We 3-0. Get that trophy. We're on the play. That bodes well for us here on mono red. This hand is fair on curve, but looks powerful, so I think we'll keep it. And we'll open up with our Soulscar Mage and pass to our opponent. Okay, yeah, Forest normally bodes well for us, but Exploration's a heck of a start, though. Okay, a little bit of ramp going on. All right, got a land off the top and a little extra damage in there. Excellent. Nettlecyst tends to be into green, not really where we want to be. We don't want to put a lot of eggs in a basket that can get erased with half of the cards they could draft. Lotus Cobra, that is an excellent Firebolt target. I accept. Land drop 1, they do have another one, yeah. Very strong. Happy they added this package, the Karus and Lotus Cobras. That's just really cool. Okay, so we have some interesting stuff to do here. Soulscar Mage lets us put negative counters on creatures with non-combat damage, right? So we do have an opportunity to develop Najeela into Kenra and attack. We do have some other decent opportunities here. I think what we're going to do this turn, we're going to play the land. We're going to not really want to discard anything, and that makes this tricky. So what I think we do, 3 cards in hand, they have a Dack Fayden coming in. We can turn off access to Dack Fayden as we know it right now with this Lotus Cobra and taking it out. So I think we are just going to do that now. Let the Prowess trigger happen. And then attack with maybe both. Yeah, I think we attack with both. Discard our Kenra. Put the token here. Field of the Dead is not ideal for me, but at least that rewards us taking care of the Lotus Cobra. Field of the Dead and Forest. Rough. Okay, so they're going to get some life back. Makes my play a little suspect. But... And they had the blue source. Even less fortunate. We didn't expose Nettlecyst. I'm really rewarded for that discard. They have a Glorybringer. Okay. So this game's getting out of control pretty quick. They're just developing so much more mana than we can deal with. We're probably going to need a Fire Blast to get out from under this. Well, Wizard, Knight. We're not going to get an Agila trigger. But we can get 3, 4, 5 mana. Flash this back. Man, getting heavily hurt with these Inti discards. And a Chandra. Man, opponent's deck, very powerful. They are doing some better stuff than we are. Our fast mana can sometimes get there, but theirs is incredibly consistent, so this will be an uphill battle for the trophy, it seems. Eternal in this, Tameo. Hitting a fetch land off of here, my goodness. And field triggering, yeah. We'll pack it in. We'll pack it in at that. So what do we do here? We can take to the skies with the Heart of Kiran. Dak Faden makes that terrifying to bring in, though. Pyrokinesis, I like. Fire Blast, I like. I think I like what we got here. I probably played that Inti very poorly that game. I kept valuing the damage, even though I'm staring at a way to negate most of that damage. Probably should have been developing the board better. That Kenra and Agila choice, I think, really ended up costing me. But them finding Field of the Dead was just the nail in the coffin for that game plan anyway. But we know what they're about now. They're a really good field deck. It seems like Gruul based. So we'll try and just zoom past them a couple games. This is good. We will put the fireball back. Reason being, I can turn one this Karizev. turn 2 DRC and Rabbit Battery. And so as long as I see like Hellrider as my next draw or something to that effect, we are cooking at that point. Them opening up colorless land bodes well. It probably means they have a Karoo land, but that's okay. Tails been wildly successful. Preyed on Kryzev, sure. Doesn't matter, because we are so powerful. Okay, Lelia ends the game, which is a great spot to be here. They don't have double green for any shenanigans. Yeah. Okay. Opponent kept a little bit of a slower hand, probably thinking raw power they could overcome that, but they need their green cards. The Core Surf Kruphix pretty much what won them the last game. So opponent now knows that. Probably going into game 3, going to be much harder. Much more disciplined, keeps out of the opponent, I'm expecting. Okay, game 3, match 3. No pressure or anything. This hand is not as good. This hand is terrifying. I don't think we can do it. This hand will work. Bit of a gamble here. Kind of stacked against us, honestly, having to mulligan like that and them opening exploration. But it's cube. Lots of crazy stuff can happen. We could have peeled a mana crypt there and been like we were a 7-card hand, you know. So Flametongue Kavu, that's unluckers for us. I'm glad they already used it though. Great tool against Kryzev. Out of the way for us. They only have 2 cards in hand, so hopefully they're not good ones. Hopefully it's 2 lands. It doesn't look like it is. Glorybringer, that's rough. Ooh, take 8. Mana Rot. Excellent. Okay. Pyrokinesis, fantastic. Delayed fireball, fantastic. Flame Slash might have just iced us out of the game. Recall. Opponent firmly in the driver's seat. We have probably not achieved our trophy dreams, but all in all, a very successful cube draft. You get 2 wins, gets you a free redraft, so we get back out there again. Perfectly reasonable. We had a game plan. In the draft, we stuck to it. We had a decent pivot option, didn't quite pan out. Renin 6 recall Dak is Dak Faden is my kind of deck. And they'll be able to attack this turn. Okay. All right. Well, that does it for me. Certainly subscribe to the YouTube if you haven't. We stream basically every weekday over on Twitch. We have a podcast that drops weekly. Let us know what you think about these direct to YouTubes or limited in general or Vintage Cube. I would love to do more of this, but subscribe, throw some comments. Let me know what you think.